Guys, in fact, check out these numbers: 22 seasons in the major leagues, 3,115 hits, 696 home runs, 2,086 RBIs, 14-time All-Star, 3-time AL MVP, World Series champion in 2009. We could go on and on. Now, Mr. Rodriguez is out with it's a new documentary series. It's called Alex versus A-Rod. It is a candid, at times brutally honest and raw look at his career. Take a look.
Early on, I was just a kid, like in this innocent climb, and hopeful, sometimes hopeless, a dreamer. And I think over time, I kind of started losing my way a little bit. And then I felt like A-Rod took over.
Alex Rodriguez, welcome back.
Thank you.
Welcome. You know, we were just talking. I watched it, and here's the thing: you're at a point in your life you didn't have to do this. You own 2 major league teams. You're an Emmy-winning broadcaster over on Fox. I think a lot of folks had maybe forgotten about some of this stuff, and here you are, sort of bringing it all back up, and you're honest about it. You talk about how you cheated, then you lied about cheating, then a few years later, you cheated again, and you lied about cheating again. Why? Why do this now?
Well, I think, first of all, Craig, thanks for having me. This is more of a mental health story than a baseball story. And the person just happened to be a baseball player. But it's important not to forget. It's important to bring all those things back because the next generation of kids are watching and they're learning. And also, I've had a long time to reflect. And with my daughter now being 20 and 17, a junior in college and a high school senior, I wanted to make sure they co-signed and we were going to do this right. We're going to do it candid, raw, and honest.
Alex versus A-Rod. There's a difference between the two. It's revealed throughout the course of the documentary. What's the difference?
I think.
What was the difference?
Yeah, I think early on, I came into the big leagues at 18 years old. Only one of 3 18-year-olds that's ever done it in over 140 years. And when the guys would go to a bar, I was still 3 years away from being allowed into the bar. So it was an innocent kid that came up. We had great surroundings with Griffey and Lou Piniella, Jay Buhner. And then somewhere on Texas, I lost my way a little bit. And I would say the biggest difference is one is a collaborative that likes to pass the ball more and probably likes to shoot more.
Yeah. And at one point, you also described yourself as a recovering narcissist.
Yeah, for sure.
When did you recover?
I think, I'm still recovering, but I've been in therapy now for over 10 years, and it's really saved my life, Craig. The one thing I will say is that I wouldn't wish on anyone, in a weird way, that you have so much success so early right out of the gates, because I think your self-awareness decreases, your ego increases, and personally, I just didn't have the tools to have so much so early.
I want to be honest with you. I was watching it, and there was a part of me about halfway through the third episode, and I started thinking, well, maybe, hang on. Maybe part of his motivation is obviously, you don't need the money. Mm-hmm. Part of the motivation is maybe the Hall of Fame. Maybe A-Rod really does think, because the reality is your numbers are better than 90% of the folks who are in Cooperstown. Maybe this is part of a campaign to get into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I will go the other way. Now that you saw it, I'm definitely not going in the Hall of Fame, which is, that I knew the rules. I broke the rules, and if that's the penalty, that's completely on me. But I think that opportunity of getting suspended, and now I didn't say that back then because it was a cringing experience, and you remember around here in New York, but it was a real gift to me because it allowed me to meet Dr. David, which I talk about a lot, my therapist, who has since passed. He saved my life, and he gave me the tools of, as he called it, rewiring of the brain to help me in the back half of my, what we call the back nine.
Several years ago, I sat down. That was one of the great honors of my professional life. I sat down with Hank Aaron, and we talked about this particular era in baseball where you found yourself. This is what he said about who should and who should not get into the Hall of Fame. Take a listen. Barry Bonds and some of these other guys who've admitted to juicing, do you think they belong in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Even though they were on steroids?
We've had so many cheaters that have made the Hall of Fame. And I don't see any reason why Barry or any of the rest of them shouldn't make it.
Hank Aaron thought you should make it. Your first coach, Lou Piniella, from Seattle days, in the doc, he talks about how you should be in the Hall of Fame. What say you? Do you deserve to? Yes or no? Don't couch it. Do you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame?
Of course, of course. I mean, Barry, Roger, I think it's laughable that Roger Clemens, the greatest pitcher of all time, and Barry Bonds, head and shoulders above everybody.
They all deserve to be in.
Including Shohei Ohtani, you name it. Barry Bonds is by far the GOAT. He's our Michael Jordan. Of course, he deserves to be there. Now, if you want to put an asterisk or something like that, of course. But, that's not my decision to make. I would certainly vote for those guys. I don't have a vote on myself.
Ken Seiko.
I think you got to go line by line and
McGuire.
I mean, look, I'm not the voter, but
yeah,
it's a hard part of history to just take a few guys out and put a few guys in. But again, that's not what this documentary about. Honestly, Craig, that was the last thing I was thinking about because, I hope for the best, plan for the worst. And I put the Hall of Fame as a position of, as a matter of fact, a couple of years ago, Big Poppy went, who's a dear friend of mine, and I went. And that's one of the first times I've ever been to the Hall of Fame because I've always wanted to stay away. But we'll see. That's not the point of this.
It was fascinating watching the evolution of Alex throughout the course of this documentary. One of the things that's revealed is you spend a lot of time giving advice to young players. Mm-hmm. And I saw recently that you gave some advice to a 10-year-old kid named Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
What was the advice that you gave to the Super Bowl champ and the MVP?
Well, you probably remember his father, Pat Mahomes Sr.
Yeah.
And Pat Junior would come in, he's 10, 11 years old, and he would put the ball in the tee every day for me. He had these beautiful blue eyes and great looking kid. And I never gave him advice, but I finally, the last day before he went back to school, I said, all right, here you go, young Patrick, here's my only advice I'm going to tell you, and please don't forget this. Enjoy football, because he's a great baseball player. Yeah. But baseball's where the money is. Leave football alone. And he reminds me of it all the time.
I'm sure he does.
So I'm so glad that he would take my advice.
Oh, yeah. I hope you're giving better advice to other players.
Me too.
It's good to see you.
Thanks, Rick.
Alex Rodriguez. Again, it's Alex versus A-Rod. It premieres tonight on HBO. It will be available to stream on HBO Max.